and welcome to Into the Battlegrounds, the PUBG Online podcast for this week, where we will talk about all kinds of random things, but one of the big things that we can talk about is how Poro always team kills me, or we run a 5-minute delay so we can avoid team sniping, or stream sniping, so that we wouldn't have to go into that. But my name is Matcham. You guys should be familiar with me. I do a lot of casts and a lot of other stuff for PUBG Online. To my right will be Porosaurus. Poro, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Apparently, I'm just a massacre of Matchroom in game, and I just
You are.
team kill all day long. Please, God, player unknown. You could ban me. That's not gonna fix his internet from drumping him and forcing me to be stuck in a car, going in circles in the middle of an open field. So yes, I did team kill him.
Several
It happened
times.
several times.
And so above me we've got Rykar. Rykar, give us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm from Kansas, and I play PUBG for STDX, SetToDestroyX. Here the last few months, it's been a lot of fun playing in your guys' PUBG Online qualifiers, and I feel like we've been doing a good job representing.
Stats have definitely been showing a lot of good plays coming out of you guys. And then up there, the smartest guy out of all of us, so that way he doesn't have to worry about a webcam. He's just got a little picture set up, so that way he doesn't have to like get like hair fixed and all that other stuff.
I can stay comfortable.
He's just sitting there naked right now, and that would be Gazrilla.
Completely nude.
Give us a little bit about yourself, Gaz.
I'm 24. Currently live in Alabama. I'm from New York. Got into gaming at a young age, probably around 7. I used to play Quake. Brother Derek actually used to play for Clan Capital, good Quake team back in the day. I'm a Flashpoint player. Recently got picked up by them a couple months ago. I've been in these tourneys, getting the rosters now set up, but that's just about it for me.
Because you guys just recently had some roster changes happen on Flashpoint, correct?
Yep, we added L2P Lush, who is a current top 10 solo player.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And yeah, and was number 1 last week, I believe, or earlier this week, I should say. And Frolicker, who was number 1 or is number 1 currently for duos. But excited to see how well we do with them.
And this is the week to make all of the roster changes, because I guess the first thing that we'll kind of talk about is that there are now 2 different divisions that are going to be happening for PUBG Online. There is going to be the, I guess, the Showdown division, which is going to be the top 18 teams. That's going to be happening on Mondays and Wednesdays. There's going to be EU and North America sides of that. And then there's going to be the Open division that's going to allow just whomever to come sign up and be playing for points. And at the end of the month, the bottom teams from the Showdown division will be playing the top teams from the Open division to try to move, if we have any change-ups or any new solid teams that are coming into the lineup. And I know both of you guys are going to be in the Showdown divisions with your teams, so I know one of the big things that everybody was talking about was like, hey, we don't like the open sign-up system, let's take care of that. I think that kind of addresses that. Also makes it to where like the best of the best are always playing each other. Is this something that you guys are looking forward to, or were you guys more excited about like having random teams coming in? Like, what's your guys' opinion on the new division setup?
I really like it. This is what I wanted from the get-go. I think it's following the format of a lot of things that have worked in the past for other games. This allows the really good players to shine both in the Open and the Showdown series. They allow them to climb, prove themselves to everybody, and then start winning more and more.
Gaz, what's your opinion on it?
I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's I'd always want to play against the best, and I know sometimes the best teams weren't always in them, and it's more rewarding if you get a win against a good 5 top teams at the time.
Yeah, it did kind of feel like it was kind of a race to sign up before. Not necessarily who's best was not prioritized. It was just whoever signed up first. But this way, you really have to work to be able to play consistently now.
I personally like it because I'll be honest, you guys' names are kind of hard, and dealing with 70 names constantly cycling, it's just like, oh, how do I say that? Because everybody has like Twitch dot whatever in front of their name, or like XXX Pornstar 39XX in their name. It's like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Poro. I know this is a topic you want to address. Go ahead.
I'll get to it later. But I mean, I will say that I think that this it's the format change is really good, and I think that it was good that we waited to this point to do it, so that teams could start kind of getting more established, and kind of we start figuring out who the actual real top 18 are, because once now that it's set for a month, you want to be able to um, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. You want to be able to make sure that the top teams are the ones that are playing,
Right.
and that you're not just accidentally pulling in some, team low expectations in there to fill out a top 18 bracket.
Hey, it's always fun to root for underdogs, though.
This is true. Like that's what...
Boy.
If you guys didn't know this, Poro and I played in I think the very first rounds of the PUBG
very
Open,
first one.
playing against you guys, and like, man, all we did was crawl around and hide because we were like, all these guys are such good shots. Just lay down, just don't move.
Hide and seek champions, baby.
That's what we do.
That works sometimes, though. That's the
It
way
works
PUBG is.
all the time for us. That's the best part about it.
I think there was a qualifier like 2-3 weeks ago where I was like, my team got wiped out. I was a solo player, and I just crawled, snaked it to the end, and I ended up being 1v4, me versus Noble.
Yeah.
No, I think I remember that. Well, okay, so now that we've got a couple of players here, like we always talk about this in the cast, and kind of interested to get your input on it. So whenever something like that does happen, whenever you're say you drop and you end up getting into a really vicious team fight at the beginning with somebody, and you lose a couple of members, and maybe there's like one or two teammates left, do y'all intentionally go out there just to try to just play hide and seek and just last as long as possible? Do you have teammates in your ear saying like, don't you dare take a shot at that guy, I swear to God?
That definitely happens. A lot of times I'll tell my team to be quiet, like when it's just me, especially near the end, because you just need to listen and not have any distractions. A lot of times, yeah, you want to play that game. Playing aggressive when you're solo is not usually a good route to go. But sometimes you're still forced into conflict, and you got to take it.
Right.
Yeah, I would. We definitely have a strategy as far as getting placement. If we lose one person early, it's not usually a big deal. If we get down to, we know we're in the top 10, we only have one or two guys left, we will definitely play more safe and careful, and send either one guy to a position to scope it out first, or even, I mean, if it happens we have to play for placement and there's no way we can storm a building with 2-on-4, then I mean we'll send someone to a shack or something. But if it comes down to it, we'll do it. But if we got a full team up, then we're going for the win.
I've kind of noticed that about Flashpoint. I don't
Yep.
know if that's just Machine Gunner's style or whatnot. I don't know who is the shot caller on there, but I've noticed that you guys tend to be fairly gung-ho sometimes. Like, you guys will be like, there are people in this building, it's time for them to die, and you will go for it much more than I see a lot of the other teams go for.
It's one thing we're definitely trying to work on. Breaching compounds is, if you get that down, you're really doing well at that, and it's a game changer if you know how to breach.
See, I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest meta shifts that's going to happen inside of this, and it's one of the topics I like to talk about, is the evolving strategy. Like, right now, we have a very, say, slow mid-game that happens.
Risk-averse.
Oh yeah,
Risk-averse is the term that I like to use in cast, but let's be honest, we have a very slow mid-game that happens. So I'm curious, do you guys see that meta is going to evolve as new strategies and like the more tactical side of PUBG starts to show, to where people start getting down breaching strategies a lot better? Or do you think that people are going to start choosing, instead of just going for houses and bunkering down inside of the circle, like trying to find optimal houses to where they can start trying to take out more people that are trying to reposition and try to get there first? You start to see that meta start to come out more and more to where the mid game will be more active? Or do you think that the mid game is just kind of what the mid game is right now?
I think with the format of the tournament, I played one the other day where kills like mattered. They had point values. It was like 2 points a kill, and that was insane to me. But it definitely caused some teams to be a lot more aggressive in the mid and early game, just because you get rewarded for it. But if it's going to stay, survival the way it is, I think you're definitely going to see a lot of teams choosing to back out of 4v4 situations unless they have the advantage, where it's 4v3, 4v2, then they'll push. But until they have that known advantage, they're not going to do anything about it.
Right, Gaz, you have an opinion on it?
Yeah, as he was saying, we playing leagues have points for kills, not as much as 2, but like 0.33 for a kill. So it's not game breaking, but it gives you, I guess, incentive to actually shoot people. And also, I think the reason a lot of people don't usually crash compounds is like a lack of confidence. So I feel like if people practice it and they try it out more often, it'll make the game more exciting. Or I mean, if you got a good compound in the middle, but it's taken, and you've been working on breaching compounds, I believe if they get confident enough, people will start doing it more often. I guess lead to better and more exciting gameplay.
Yeah, and I'm the shot caller for my team, and they've been trying to get me to be more aggressive. My rest of my team wants to be more aggressive like that and take compounds and and I'm the conservative one, and I'm always like, I don't know, guys.
It's a risk reward.
I'm always scared we're gonna lose 1 or 2 people and go into the final circle with an automatic disadvantage. And I'd rather just last out and let people come into us, let them push in on us, and then we'll kill them. Let's not try to take them.
And that comes down to one of the big strategy differences. Like right now is that it's exactly what you guys are talking about. Is everybody tries to play very risk averse because let them come to us because then we have the advantage. If we're going to charge, let's all do it fast and go in hard because then we have the advantage of surprise. All these things become factors in it. I do kind of want to talk about what we were talking about with the points for a second. We'll cycle back in. That's always the that seems to be a topic that's always brought up in all these podcasts. So, I kind of fall in the middle ground. I know that there's a lot of ideas that are being thrown around by the admins in regards to how to handle kills specifically. But the inherent thing that comes down to is, yes, if you put in points, that does encourage people to fight. But I've seen that there's this break point. Whenever you're talking about with 2 points per kill, everybody's like, oh, well, that's way too much. But see, now if you kill 4 teams, it counts as a win. So, okay, that's not so bad. Because you still get 20 points for the win. But usually there's 2 big factors that come into play. And chat, you guys we'll kind of discuss and see if we come up with any more ideas as everybody's been talking about this. There's 2 large factors that come in. One, if points are worth too much, now you're playing team deathmatch and you're not playing really PUBG anymore because everybody's just going for the kills and not playing smart anymore. So you have to make sure that they're not worth too much. The secondary factor in it is usually the team that wins is the team that has the most kills. 9 times out, well, I'd say probably 3 times out of 5. That seems to be the case.
So do you think it's just them padding onto the top?
Yeah, it'll just, in my opinion, I think it would just make it to where the leaders just become harder to catch. Those guys in the top 5 or top 10 will just keep stacking kills because naturally, if you're the last team, let's say that everybody plays super risk averse and then it ends up being in a 4v4 at the end. Both those teams are going to have kills, have some to get to that final 4v4. But whichever team wins is definitely going to have to kill those other 4 players. So now that's an extra 4 to 8 points they have, in addition to the 20 for winning. So you just end up starting to have this escalation of points that I would see start to get out of hand because we usually see the top 5, 10 teams repeatedly being in the top 5 and 10 teams. So it makes it to where the bottom 8 teams are just how do we ever catch that? And so I know there are a couple of ideas that are being thrown around, potentially taking tallying all the kills for the day, and whichever team had the most kills, giving them some giving the top 1 or 2 points. Here's 10 points for you and 5 points for you for being the first and second most kills. But even then, I worry that might still be the top teams that won the most rounds that day. Do you guys have differences of opinion? Do you think it'll play out differently? Do you think it would impact the meta enough to where
it's hard to find that balance? That's what you're talking about with how much these kills should be worth. Should it just be an overall tally? Maybe it should just be for each series, all 3 games that day. The top team gets 10 extra points. Second place gets 5. Third place gets 3. And just that would make it so it wouldn't get completely out of control. So it wouldn't be every game. It'd be your whole day. That would be a way you could possibly keep it. I've heard a lot of people say it should be worth half a point to a point. But then again, how do you avoid that balance? As far as the point system currently goes, the only thing that bothers me about it is the 6th through 10th spot. If you get 10th, you get 5 points. If you get 6th, you get 5 points. But that's 24 people right there in between that are down that you get no credit for, and that can be that's a large chunk of the servers. I would like to see 6th and 7th be 7 points.
Yeah, a less of a hard drop coming in the points, so that way it's more
it's you go from 6th to 5th, it's 5 extra points, but then 10th gets the same as 6th.
Yeah,
they don't have to last near as long.
That's a solid point. The point system is definitely one of the hardest factors to contain inside of here, is to try to figure out because you never know, maybe just reducing the total points that first place is worth, like instead of it being like, what is it? I think it's like 20, 15, 10, isn't it? Like something along those lines, and then it goes down significantly after that. But maybe if like first place wasn't 20 and it was more of an obtainable, maybe people would then start not always aiming for first place and might be more inclined to shoot. That might be a factor too.
First place 30 and second 20.
That's right. It's like
yeah.
I say it like 30 times at this a week. You think I should know by now, but
but there's
that's
definitely
what UI elements are for.
Yeah, there's definitely a big gap that I think needs to be filled between 6th and 10th, because I think 6 does look a lot better than 10th, especially when we're only with 18 or 16 teams, and it's like you could outlast 6 teams and get 10 teams.
Well, I think that we've bored everybody in chat and watching this enough with let's talk numbers and crunch numbers. Let's talk about something a little bit more hot button, which is the Gamescom event that's coming up. That is going to be a $350,000 prize. Seems to be based towards content creators, like maybe YouTube, maybe high streamers. We don't know exactly. We don't know how the invites are going out. But they did say that a lot of the prize pool is going to charity, which makes me think it's not going to be a lot of signed orgs that are coming in. But $350,000 is nothing to shake like your nose at. That shows that, like, I come from Overwatch. That's a lot of money in Overwatch. That's like this whole year in Overwatch right now. Then also there's the crates that are coming in to where you get like the 2 free crates, but then you can spend like $250, I think, to unlock crates to have a chance of getting cosmetics, and that money is then going to prize pools for different events. Poor old man, you are laughing, looking down.
I see you shaking your head.
You take it. You take it. You take it first.
I honestly, like, I'm having a really hard time caring about that, because it's like it's all cosmetic stuff. Like,
that's kind of how I feel too.
You know, it's like if you're actually good at the game and you get pleasure out of playing the game for the game's sake, why do you, like, I run around in like freaking underwear, like and at the end of the day I'm gonna have a freaking helmet and a body armor and a giant backpack on, and it's not gonna matter. And then and then I heard the other people were complaining like, oh well, what happens when they get the first person servers, and now I'm not gonna get to see all my sweet
but it's not about looking at you, it's about looking at other people. That's how I see it.
Like, it's just like, who cares? I mean, and this is coming from somebody who spent like just an obscenely irresponsible amount of money on skins in League of Legends. Like, I just, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people getting really upset about the cosmetic aspect of it, and just like I guess the model that's a little bit similar, I guess, to CS:GO, and they're getting kind of nervous because when you start mentioning the CS:GO model, people start getting nervous just because of all the drama that happened with that stuff. But like, I don't know. As far as cosmetic stuff goes, they can do whatever they want. Like, I don't really care. If he wants to get money by selling keys to pay for prize pools, that's great. Like, I mean, you sold 4 million copies of an early access game at $30 $40 a piece. So like, yeah, 5 million. So like, I don't know where that money went, but I mean, sure, if selling keys to a crate for $2 is what needs to fund your prize pool, sure, knock yourself out. Like, I don't really care.
Well, you can go ahead and go.
I was gonna say, I feel like the cosmetics are a lot less needed in this game, where people won't, I guess, be as thrilled about them as they were in like different games. Like, you can't really flash this game up that much without it being like, I guess, too cartoony. I guess, like, it's just gonna be the same gears over and over.
God, no, I don't want it to be that cartoony.
Yeah, there aren't gonna be like unicorn helmets and stuff, but
you know what?
It's gonna be the same thing.
The big thing that I get the biggest kick out of is everybody's like, well, I still want my free cosmetics. I don't know about you guys, but I tend to drop in like very low loot areas, and there are cosmetics all over the floor, everywhere I go. Like, if I want to change the way my character
everyone used
looks,
to love jackets, and now nobody wears them.
The only time you wear the trench coats is if you're going to the school for obvious reasons. But
or if you get the Tommy gun unlimited.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's important too. My view on it is like, okay, like if you want to use it to fund the prize pool, whatever, that's fine, that's good. That's an interesting way to do it, and we have seen that happen in other games. I would just hope that eventually we'll start to get, like, if it's going for prize pools for events, that we start to get like prizes that reflect that. So like, you know, like teams that are like the top 10 or 20 teams, like they all have like their own shirts or something like that. So if you wanted to get like a Set to Destroy or a Flashpoint or whatever shirt, you could get those through the unlocks. I think that would be really cool, and I think that would be like a way to support your team or whatever. And then like you could do all kinds of fun stuff with that. But like that would be the development point that I would want it to go for. But what strikes me the weirdest about this is the fact that there's a lot, like the way that it's phrased, it just seems weird. Like I know a lot of people are super pissed, like, oh, you said there weren't going to be microtransactions until after like early access. Well, yeah, that was also when like 30 people were playing this game. Like,
they don't have to spend that money if they don't want to. It's all cosmetic. I don't see, like, people are just mad with anything that they put a price tag on. There's going to be that small sect of every game that's going to get mad at that. At least it's not paid DLC. You know, like the new maps coming out, they're going to be free. At least we don't have to pay, you know, $10 for that. Like that would kill the game.
Please make that not be a thing. Please make that not be a thing. Now that you've said that, I'm like, please, God, please no, because that
I don't think they'll go that route. I think PlayerUnknown's been very communicated with his community and listens to them and gives them feedback on what they want. I don't think he would make a decision that honestly is stupid.
No, I have zero problem with charging money for cosmetics that don't impact the game at all. Like that's just end of the day. That's all it.
What I get the biggest kick out of all of this is like I'm not gonna lie, I like to like Barbie up my characters. I like to get cool looking stuff, so I might do it. I might spend a couple bucks just to see.
I'll probably spend it. Yeah.
My thing is like
I just go for what blends in the most.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people tend to forget that you are actually getting like actual like crates too, like free crates that come out of it. Like here's 2 complete outfits, by the way, for free. Oh, but if I want these other outfits, I have to spend money for them. It's like, now what I have heard that is kind of dumb is the fact that you have to pay to get the crate using the BP, and then you have to use money to unlock it with a key. So it's still based off of the amount of play as the amount of crates that you get, and then you have to spend money on that. That seems really awkward to me. Like, if you're gonna do it, why not just go like full on, like, what is it, the Blizzard model right now, where you just buy loot crates and then they just like you buy like 10 of them and then all of a sudden you just deal with it that way. That seems to be more logical. It seems like this weird half-breed mode that doesn't make much sense to me.
As long as they don't have that tiered BP system on it, they need to have it at a static value if they're going to go that route. Like if it goes like, you know, 700, 1400, and 2800 in that route again, that it would be dumb. If they kept it at like a steady like 5000, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But honestly, BP is not hard to earn.
Well, I will say it's weird when you're a squad player. Well, no, like when you're a squad player, like you finish first, you get like 500,
400,
BP.
yeah, 400, 500.
Yeah, you finish like top 15, you get the same in solos, you get the same amount. So it's like I don't know, it seems kind of weird.
Well, I think they're working on that.
Yeah. Honestly, I like stopped paying attention to how much BP I get. Because I can only have like, what am I gonna get, like 7 red shirts? Oh, awesome!
Oh, yeah, I have stopped opening crates. I have 20. I think I have 22,000 BP saved up now.
Something like.
I'm probably in that same range. Like one day I just got bored and I was like, let me just buy like 5 crates and see what happened. And 4 of them were red shirts. And I was like, I'm done. I'm fine.
I finally just gave up trying to get the jacket I wanted and went and bought it for like $1.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so mad because I'm spending money on it," and I was like, "I may have already done that."
It's like literally like less than $1.
Yeah, and that's gonna be my strategy too. Like, let people buy like 10 cases with their money, and then be like, "Oh, I've got this shirt that I don't want. I'm gonna go sell it for like $1."
I did not open my Twitch Prime set. I was sitting on that crate and it's sitting at like $30 less. Yeah, it's gonna. I'm hoping it goes up. I'm hoping it goes up.
It's like Beanie Babies, man. It's like a just buy it and sit on it a few years. Just watch it grow.
Oh, they're gonna love this Twitch shirt in 3 years from now. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna make $6 off of it.
Look at the pre-order jacket. Like $900.
Well, to be fair, like that bandana's sexy. Like every once in a while, I look at that bandana. I'm like, I want that bandana.
Which cosmetic item shows your fiscal irresponsibility the best, Matt?
I think it's probably the jacket. Like that's probably one of my favorite things. I saw somebody on stream the other day, like, and this guy runs up to him because he was like wearing the PlayerUnknown jacket. And this guy runs up and he's like, "Oh, dude, let me see your jacket. Let me see your jacket." And the guy's like stops, and the guy was like walks around him, and he's like, "Could you please drop the jacket? I just want to wear it for one game, please." And the guy's like, "All right," and he like throws it down on the ground, and you see like the guy put it back on. And he doesn't like mute whenever, because this is like all in the lobby, right before it starts off. He goes running back to his friends like, "My God, I'm wearing the jacket, guys! I'm wearing the jacket!" Like, some people go crazy about cosmetics. It's insane.
Oh my God.
The only thing, the parallel I've drawn between that jacket, I hope that PlayerUnknown actually wears that in real life just all the time. But all I can picture when I see that jacket is that guy from the movie Grandma's Boy. That's all I can see when I see people in that jacket.
You make the best games. Nobody understands why your
Oh,
games
you
are the
see
best.
me
Like,
trying to blend in with the wall.
Do you like this music? You would if you had robot ears. Oh my God, dude! I haven't
Maybe
seen
that's
that
why
movie in
this-
so long.
Maybe that's why we aren't as good. Like he has like that's why we haven't made the switch over to surround sound in 7.1 yet, because we don't have robot ears. If we had PlayerUnknown's the robot ears, you know he's probably gonna like get a clip of that and be like, "Well, that's right. We hate that guy now." All right, so we went down that dark path there for a bit, talking about cosmetics. But now about the event, what do you guys think? Like,
I am
what's your
glad that
ideas
they're
on it?
finally like giving. I mean, as far as I understand, they're paying out like actual cash money for this event, right?
From
Yep,
my
as far as I
understanding,
understand,
yes. That we
Okay,
I know that
that is
there's
that is a step in the right direction.
for those
I
of
Oh,
you
yeah.
understand.
don't know, I'm just going to jump in. There's a rule where you can't have more than $500 or $1,000 in physical prizes. Anything that has cash relation is not allowed. So you can't give like somebody Steam cards or anything. It has to be like, here's a chair or a mouse pad.
Mhm.
So
There's a mouse pad split into 4 pieces.
So yeah, cash could be good way to go, but it also says that it's going to charity as well. So I don't know, like the structure
Yeah.
for it all seems kind of
Sure.
weird. So it seems like a lot of streamers could be invited. I'm willing to bet like a couple of teams are going to be invited. Yet we
I haven't received an invite yet. I don't think anybody has as far as the signed orgs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the only one I've heard for sure is Cloud9, and
They're
I
all
don't think they play in these
streamers.
qualifiers. Yeah, they're all just streamers and big names. It's kind of disappointing to see it go that route. I would have liked to see them invite the best of the best, people that have supported the competitive community so far. That's my only sore point about it. I'd love to see that $350,000 for the first tournament. Like, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that it keeps that way in the future.
yeah,
But
it's been kind of quiet. Do you have any?
I would have
opinions?
loved to have been in Germany.
Me too.
Well, looking at it, if they're paying out the players in it, like for winning and such, the payouts going more to charity, then I wouldn't mind them doing like the big name streamers, whatever, to bring more people in to donate and more viewers and such. If it's more based on charity and less like
Yeah.
less money's going to the actual people competing in it, I could see why they just want the big name streamers like or teams like C9 and TSM, more viewers, more money. Makes sense.
That makes sense.
But if they're looking for for viewership, then they're going in the right direction. But if people are going to watch it for like top tier competitive gameplay, then it may not be the route to go.
So we're talking about streamers.
Mhm.
It's the hot topic button. Let's click it. Bans for stream sniping.
Ooh.
What are your opinions? Bans for stream sniping. And by the
Boy,
way,
I got hot opinions.
I'm gonna
on
say,
that.
I'm gonna say that sure we run a 5-minute delay on our events. I'm gonna say it on stream right now, but I've gotten to the point where I try to like keep this memory of like storyline events, like this team was here and they're now going there. There's a couple of teams I'm keeping an eye on that have like I can watch in that 5-minute delay, and that the moment that map comes up, I can see them instantly move in game, and they're like, "Let's go here to here to here and avoid all these buildings across." So maybe I'd have the power to start
The
banning
problem-
some people.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I
Lord.
swear.
The problem with trying to ban off stream sniping is that it's really hard to prove.
Yeah.
Unless you can prove that it was, which honestly, like, it's just he said she said kind of situation. Where you don't know who's telling the truth, and it's hard to prove that. So banning off that is hard.
Well, like with the tracking tools that they say that
Yeah.
they have, and that because if you remember, they've talked about the fact that the things that are going to be coming as a replay system, then there's going to be the ability to like spectate post death, just so you can kind of see what happened to you specifically. And there's going to be like a thing that you can bring up, like a post game screen, like a match screen that they said, where you're going to be able to see how you moved through the game. If these tools are in place, it wouldn't be hard to like see if somebody's like let's say a streamer is moving this way on the map, and you see like this guy is constantly recorrecting to constantly connect with them. I think that there are some things that you can look at with the tools that they say are coming, and they say that some of them are live right now, they probably just haven't rolled them out to us, that you can probably, some things are pretty obvious. Like if you have the eye in the sky and you have the delay like I do, sometimes you can very obviously see like, okay guys, like what you're doing is pretty blatant, right?
Mm-hmm. There's only been one instance in a qualifier where I thought we might have been stream sniping because we got to like the middle of the map really, really soon, and it was coming down right in the middle of us, and this team rolls up. And there's like 4 or 5 buildings in this compound. I can't remember which one it exactly was, but they just go straight to our building and start throwing nades in the top without any of us peeking. Our building specifically at all. We didn't move or like peek at all, and they just knew where we were. And I was like, well, I mean, it happens, yeah, but it just sucks that it was during a tournament match. But it's so hard to prove. I didn't call them out or anything. I was just like, well, maybe our guns were sticking to the wall or our foot or something. But like I said, it's hard to prove.
Yeah, I mean, there's any number of ways, but like I don't know. At the end of the day, I think this is not a player unknown issue, right? This is a streamer issue. Like if you don't want to be stream sniped, don't stream without a delay. Like don't. I mean, I know you want to interact with your chat and everything, but this is the give and the take that you have. If you're in a competitive game that you actually like, that you really care about, placing high, then stream with some kind of delay or stream with some kind of um, filter over when you're joining the lobby so that people have a harder time. There's so many different things you can do as a streamer to prevent to make stream sniping harder for other people. So I don't like the idea that people that are high profile streamers can supposedly just like write into somebody, say that this person is stream sniping, and then that person gets a ban. That just seems messed up to me.
I don't
Well,
like
and then it's
I'm gonna jump in on that one real quick.
Yeah.
I'm about to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't like that because the fact that I'll be straight up and honest. A lot of the streams that I've watched, I've gotten to the point now where I feel like I've got a pretty good perspective on what's happening in the game since I spend so much time in bird's eye view of it. A lot of the times these streamers are using
They're
a
wrong.
lot of excuses on things like,
Oh.
oh, I died because of a stream sniper. Oh, I died because of RNG. Oh, and I died if this was first person, this wouldn't have happened. Like it's
Solo
a
and
constant
duo
stream.
players.
Yeah.
Solo and duo players are always the ones that are blaming the game.
Yeah, there's a certain streamer that like if someone happens to kill him and they like pull up his stream, go to chat and like just say GG, like he'll immediately, well, that guy was stream sniping me, and it's like, okay, sometimes they kill him, maybe they were, but a lot of time people go in there just because if you're one of the top known streamers, like they're just gonna do it,
Yeah,
just because they know you. Doesn't mean they're stream sniping you.
It's the same thing that you would have whenever whenever I'm playing and stuff and I like come across somebody that I know that's from an event and they murder me because naturally I'm a caster and they're an actual player. Naturally they're gonna murder me.
Yeah.
I was like send a message in the Discord, like it's happened to me before. I was just like, hey, great shot, good kill, and the person was just like, why are we watching me on stream? I was like, no, you killed me. Your name popped up, and
So I went in
like,
there.
I went into your Discord and I was like, tagged you. I said, hey, good kill. Like that just happens sometimes. Like I'm not one of those people that like to have a stream up while I'm playing because then I hear the footsteps in that game and I'm like, there's people around me.
It's
I
really
can't listen to
convenient,
music. I can't do
honestly.
anything.
Well, honestly, it's such a small percentage of the community that does it. It's such a small percentage of the community that streams in the first place. It's really not an issue they need to be focusing on. I feel like there's other like actual hackers out there that need to be focusing on banning.
Yeah, those are fun. Like driving by a motorcycle and somebody's on the back and you get headshot for
Headshot by a micro Uzi.
yeah, that's always an interesting situation. Both you and your teammate are instantly down by headshots. I mean, it'd have been a magic spray, but those types of situations, I'm more like, But that has gotten a lot better. I will say that the hacking, like I noticed, like 2 or 3 months ago, it was bad, and like it's felt like there was one in just about every other game.
Yeah,
And now
I don't feel like I gotta jump in the water at the starting island anymore.
Yeah, it feels like it does it. Like maybe I come across like one in like every 10 games where I'm like, that was peculiar. But yeah. So now then, this kind of sorry, I gotta scratch my back real fast. Sorry, stream. This leads down to something else that I was wanting to talk about in regards to Gamescom. We're just gonna kind of switch gears here. With this big event coming in, do you think that we're going to see a lot of teams getting signed relatively soon that are presently unsigned, or potentially a lot of roster changes that could be coming in with the next couple of weeks leading up to this event?
I've heard in the rumor mill that Energy is looking for a team.
I can say the rumor mill exists. There are a lot of orgs that are eyeing, but I don't.
Yeah, we'll see if they honestly they may see this event as a test run, and then sign after the event. I can see that being more likely, honestly. Especially if this goes off without a hitch and it's a really good tournament. I think then everybody will jump on the hype train.
Well, I mean, the last time that PUBG specifically like pushed an event was the very first event right after the Spectator came out, if you remember, and that was the duo streamer style event. And sure, that was a charity based event as well, but it had like so many views. Like I think the mainstream had like 40K, 50K at times, and then everybody else was streaming that was playing in it. So I think if you tallied it all up, it was something stupid like 350,000 people were watching this one event.
Well, I think that stream event they had like that is largely responsible for how big this game has got, because that was right at the beginning too.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that some of the orgs might still be holding off because I think that I don't know. I feel like some of the man. I'm tiptoeing around this one super hard. I feel like there's some really big organizations that picked up teams based off of streams. and how they were doing in streams and how they were ending up in the leaderboards, and they ended up maybe not being the best team, right?
Underperforming.
So it's like, I mean, I think that there's something to be said for waiting it out and seeing these groups of players that play together consistently over time and kind of develop that rapport and develop that communication and play well together, and just kind of waiting and maybe swooping in and picking up one of those as a full thing instead of trying to just pick top tier players and then trying to shove a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, sometimes they're you're gonna have, if you're not picky with both personality and gameplay, you're gonna have people that are just gonna butt heads and cause problems. Like I would say, like my team, we're not the best individual players. We're just not. But we work very well together for the most part, and I feel like that's been the key to a lot of our success so far.
And that's important in a game like this where it's completely squad based. Like you can make up for any, like, I don't know, not being mechanically the top tier player by just having a squad that works really well together and communicates really well. So I don't know. I think that we'll still, because I mean, on the other hand, you've got these big orgs might want to come in and try to get now while strike while the iron's hot and pick up teams before they start getting picked up by others. So I don't know. It's there seems to be a hot point in a team's career where you want to kind of swoop in and pick them up and get them before anybody else gets them, but they've had a long enough time to work together to work to be viable.
Yeah. There is also the other factor, and this is going to come from like more of a production side. I will say that like Battle Royale seems like it's always kind of struggled as an esport in and of itself. It's really hard to showcase Battle Royale very well. Like if you look at the fact that there are so many teams participating in just like one round, it's not like CS:GO, League, Overwatch. I mean, everything, Dota, just about everything you can list is this team versus this team, and they're fighting for this one objective. In this, it's like teams everywhere. So just trying to cover what's happening in it, trying to catch all of the action, trying to find those right camera angles to properly display what's going on, trying to and there's no logic that you can place into it. Like as trying to run the cams, like let's say Rykar and Gazrilla, you guys are in a fight, right? You guys are shooting at each other.
Yep.
And you guys are both at full life. Like, it's really hard to know, okay, well, let's say Gaz has got the high ground, but Rykar is like behind a tree and he's peeking. There's no way you can specifically know which one of you guys is going to get that like headshot perfectly at the right time. You can have a good idea about it, but it's never 100% choice on it. So you could jump into the guy that gets shot, or vice versa. Or if there's a full squad, I could jump into one of the teammates instead of the person that actually pulls the trigger to gets the kill. Like there's a lot of back and forth. It's really, really hard production wise to showcase this as an esport. And as that develops, I think that that'll be a big factor for it too. Is like spectator crews start coming in and really, like, instead of having just like
Yeah.
one spectator flying around trying to find something, now you got like 6 that are trying to stay on top of the
Yeah,
action.
if you could have, like, honestly, I was just thinking, if you could have multiple spectators and have like one main lobby host be able to spectate those spectators as they say, like, okay, I got this shot here, you know, kind of have it like almost like a live news event where you're saying go to camera 2, you know,
Yeah.
like you could,
Boy,
if you could do that route, you know, that would be
That's
awesome.
the dream.
But
I mean,
we'll have to see what.
You're hitting the wish list right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We're working towards.
well, I mean, right now there's just only allows for one spectator, so we don't even like just once these things start coming off, then I would be willing to bet that we'll start seeing production go up right now, because like a big factor is it, and I'm going to go on a caster rant for just a second. It's really, really rough.
Ooh.
Because like the main caster is running the lobby, making sure everybody's in there while talking, making sure to run the stream, making sure nothing weird happens with the stream, while also being the camera person, while also doing the play-by-play action. It's just like, like one thing can go wrong, or like what happened to me earlier this week. I had a random glitch with one piece of software into another piece of software. 5-minute delay. Nobody's telling me what's up. I don't have anybody else that's watching while I'm watching. All of a sudden I look over, I'm like, oh, well, that's not good. You know, that's just kind of one of those things. So as production increases and we really have people that start getting dedicated to trying to work on Battle Royale and trying to showcase it, I think that we'll start to see a lot more interest in it, because it is really, really cool to see all these teams interact. It's like you're like watching a war with so many people involved in it. It's really interesting, and you can really start to care about people as it progresses through a round. But showcasing that's really, really hard, just because the map is huge and there's so many players.
Yeah.
Once we're able to get multiple spectators in there, I think the quality will definitely improve.
It'll be like a one of a kind, I guess, esport in that fact of having cameras on multiple teams everywhere.
But the streamer needs to be able to switch between the spectators, because if he's only got his camera view, that's just going to be it still. Like multiple spectators won't really solve that problem unless you can switch in between them.
Yeah.
There's stuff you can do for that.
Well, like,
multicams and such.
Yeah, we're like they have been started making adjustments to the spectator client. So that's one of the things like I really do like about the way that PUBG is like working on their dev side, is they're like having one guy work on, like, one team working on new maps while another team is working on new guns, while other one's working on latency and trying to like on the servers, and then you have like another crew that's like they're doing a really good job of attacking a whole bunch of points at one time, because it's not like game development is like done. You know, these games take years to make. So like if somebody's just like, you know, it would be great if we did this, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But you're starting to see a lot of evolutions, like this piece comes into play, and then this piece comes into play, and this other piece comes into play. I really like the pacing that's coming out from it, and the fact that they're listening to the community on most things game related. Hope that they don't listen to them on all things game related.
It's true.
All right, so I think that we've hit all of the big scary buttons. Now, I will point out to anybody in chat that here in a few minutes, we're probably going to start going down a path where you guys can start asking specific questions of players. Ooh. But I was just going to kind of go through. I'm going to get started. Gaz, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Where did your name come from?
It's actually a WoW character back in the day.
It's a boss in WoW, isn't it?
Yep.
I got it. I was been thinking, like, the very first time I saw it, I was like, I think that's where that's from, and I just wanted to make sure. Rykar, where'd yours come from?
Just the air.
Letters.
Like it's no inspiration or anything. I was just like,
that looks good.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about the whole inspiration behind it.
Well, see, you follow that same naming process that I do. It's like first letter, you gotta get that symmetry. They'll match the first and last, and then everything else in between, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I used to go by I had a lot of weird names back in the day. I was like Blarg and Bloop and just random things like that. That just didn't make any sense. But I was like, I'm starting to get decent at games. Like, what would sound decent if it was on stream or whatnot, rather than something just goofy as hell.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I hope a lot of other players start taking your example, because I feel like one of the things that I feel like I'm coming in is Papa Poro, the dad here, but I feel like especially within the competitive scene and some of these teams and players that are actually really good, maybe it's time you think about changing that edgelord name that was super funny and memey at first, But now that you're actually good, you know, and you know, you might end up getting picked up by a team. It's just like at this point, it's just a good business decision to
Yeah,
get
you
in
don't want to
there.
be like, you know,
Just look at me.
420, 69 blaze it,
Yeah.
you know?
You're not going to see, you know, TSM announces TSM 42069 Blaze It, their new PUBG player. And I mean, so it's just like a, you know, I think as time goes on and you know you start the game starts mature. Well, I don't want to say maturing a little bit, but it's just like it's you're basically going into the interview with a you know Gucci face tattoo if you got that meme name, like you're starting off just kind of like
Okay.
behind the eight ball. So it's like why do that to yourself? Just give yourself just you know whatever kind of cool normal name that
I
you
mean,
know.
and it can be kind of memey as long as it's not like inappropriate memey. Like,
Yeah, I mean, look,
like
hey, honestly, best names short, easy to see on stream. Think about what the casters are looking at. You know,
I'm
when
looking at you, Noble. Cut off that Twitch
yeah,
TV thing at the beginning of it. You guys,
good
it's so hard.
lord.
It's
Well,
so
that's what
hard.
my brother, when he played professionally, they were the kings of the 3-letter names.
Mhm.
Like he was TRK, and there was a bunch of other ones that were just 3-letter names. I mean, they worked.
Oh yeah, like the whole
Yeah.
reason, like my name, it comes from old school like video games, like back when everything was typed, and you just went off the first 3 letters. My real name is Matt, so I just created a name with Matt at the very beginning of it because I'm apparently really boring, and I just wanted it to be really, really easy. And now that we live in the world of like everybody's in voice and Discord and stuff like that, you can have whatever crazy name you want. And
mhm.
man, some of them,
Well,
like
you
especially
build
at
like a
open days.
persona behind that name
Mhm.
now. Like
Yeah.
you are creating a whole new alias for yourself, and you're going to be known by that. So what you choose can really affect you down the long run.
And you know, and you get into some events, or you get with some certain caster. There's names that they're just not going to pronounce. They're just not going to say them if they're too edgy. Like it's just not going to happen. So
You will
like you're
still butcher Rykar.
yeah.
I don't know
I
how.
think
It's
we've
not
kind of.
that hard.
I feel like
And
we
it's like,
figured it out.
Well, you
I-
also play with somebody else that has a very similar name sometimes, right? Like didn't you play at DreamHack?
no.
Then there was another Ricard.
Oh, there was another Rykara
There was
on
another Ricard at
DreamHack?
DreamHack that played with Rakan or something like that. It was Ricard and Rakan that played
Oh,
together.
well,
I
Hmm.
thought
no, that
that
wasn't
was you.
me.
Oh,
No, that
but
wasn't me.
that's what threw me for a little while because like if you look at it on like the Spectator client, the R and the N aren't really easy to tell apart from a distance. So like the whole time I was butchering it, I was like, oh my god, SetToDestroyX is gonna come at me for so many times. But it wasn't you, so it doesn't matter anymore.
I think we signed for a one-event contract. I think the people representing us at Atlanta was Profi and Venerated, actually.
Yeah. That and
Um,
they did
I
really
don't
well.
even know how well they did or not.
Second
I didn't
place.
pay any attention to it.
Second. Yep.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
About as good as you'd expect. Well,
I mean, they better.
top. Yeah, you know.
The top 2 teams were the
Well,
PUBG XP
no.
Discord teams.
Yeah.
Guys, you guys are forgetting PUBG is all RNG, man. It doesn't matter the fact that these are like 2 of the top 10 players that are coming and playing. Psh, they have the same chance as anybody else.
I guarantee top 100 at the end of next season is going to be really similar to this season.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Except for the fact that I'll be in it. No,
Oh, yeah?
that's not gonna happen.
You got to play with me, man. I'll get you up there.
I'm super sad, dude. I got up to top 3,000 and then DreamHack happened. I forgot to like go into all the discords and like verify myself as being in the top 3,000. Then DreamHack happened and I haven't had a chance to play since then because I've been doing constant casting. I like look over, I'm at like 10,000 now. I'm like, can't
You
just
need
keep
a
up
good
with
win
the guy, man.
streak.
Yeah,
that's true.
it's same thing happens.
I was
man.
It's 4,000 yesterday in solo. I had like a 4-game win streak and 120 now.
So tell me again when you want to play. No.
Well, and I'm interested
Right?
to see. They said they're going to be doing these monthly cycles now,
Mhm.
to kind of tweak the elo system and try to figure out what they want to do. And I'm really interested to see what kind of changes they have in mind. They haven't really said much about it yet, other than they're going to be testing some stuff. But I feel like a lot of the way this is right now, it feels like even if you're not that good, if you play a shit ton, you're going to climb the ranks still just because of the way
Yeah.
the system works. So it's
I'll look at
yeah,
Blue
it's
and say,
skill
yeah,
based,
that
but
does
it's
happen.
also progression
wrong.
based, which you got to find in any skill ranking system. Overwatch had that problem early on where it was progression based rather than skill based.
Hmm.
And
I
it
don't
needs
think
to be more oriented towards skill if they're wanting to be a competitive game. But
Well, that's
feel
where
like-
this game gets hard to break down, though, because like
It
I think
is.
that
It
they
is
do a
really
good
hard.
job on giving points for like getting into like the top 10 and getting in like the like all of that stuff. That's if you're good at surviving, because that's what wins the game. Surviving does win the game. Naturally, getting at least one kill at the end is what guarantees a win.
Yep.
I'm really great at making it to the top 10%. I don't have the best aim though.
Hide and seek champions.
And then I know other
right
players that
here.
are really, really good at shooting, but are just horrible at like surviving. And
Prop Hunt PUBG edition.
yeah, and like I can see where it becomes hard to really verify. Like, do you factor in people that make it to the top 10 more, or do you factor in people that are much better at making a higher KDA? Like, naturally, the guys that are in like the top 100, top 1,000, you guys all have like both of those down pat. So, but I'm kind of curious to see like if they apply too hard of an MMR system and an ELO system that comes into place. What will like because right now, you'd think that it would start almost the meta would almost start mirroring what you see in like the professional matches right now, to where everybody starts playing really risk averse. Like whenever I go to anybody's stream and like watch them, they're not playing the tournament style. They're like, let's go run and gun and let's like run up to every single building.
Oh yeah,
let's just
public
drive
games,
by people in
tournament
motorcycles.
games. Public games, tournament games, the meta is completely different.
Now, imagine if you have an ELO system that takes like the top 100 players and is like trying to match it with the closest they can. Naturally, it's not always going to do that. Do you think that in order for people to keep moving up the ranks, that much safer style would come in?
They say they don't do that, or they don't have an MMR system, but
It feels
at our
like
ranks,
it.
like
Yeah, I run into the same
do
people every
sometimes.
time.
every game.
Like I've heard that same thing as well. Like
I run into. Oh, did we lose somebody?
No, that's just branched out. We
Okay.
we play the same people almost every game.
Yeah, like I'll run into,
and they're all Discord players usually every time.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
like,
run into Check Shooter, Profi. I run into them like all the time, and it's not. And if that was truly the case, and it was
And
truly
you won't
just a
run into them
random,
if it's like your first 20 games.
yeah, I mean, I have a Smurf account, and I don't run into any of those guys ever.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody I know when I'm playing.
So
on
I
my
feel like
Smurf
it's
account.
in there somewhere somehow.
Oh, definitely. And I've noticed matching takes longer when you're higher ranked. Like
Yeah,
if
so-
you're playing with top 50 people, it takes sometimes 1 or 2 minutes to find a match.
so there's definitely something that's in there. I don't
Yeah.
think that they have
Yes.
an ELO system, but I think they have some type of intelligent matchmaking that occurs. Elsewise, like, because I'm not gonna lie, like I watch the kill feed whenever I play nowadays, and like whenever I see somebody that I know from events in there, I'm like, "Hey, was that gunshot near us?"
Mhm.
Okay, then we don't go that direction, guys. We just don't go that direction.
This looks like a nice bush to spend the next 30 minutes.
Like Jesse Lowell has killed me more than probably anybody else in this game, and I don't know why. Like Jesse Lowell has probably killed me at least 30 times, and then I don't know. Like he's in my games all the time, and he always seems to be behind me. I don't know how it
His name?
happens.
You say his name wrong once or twice, you got a hit out on you.
I guess I don't stream, so he can't be stream sniping me. It's just I don't know. It's just the way it's working. So we're coming into the tail end of this. So are there any other last topics that anybody wants to hit on before we move on? So, like getting questions from the chat.
We got new gun. I don't know.
The
Looks
M14's
cool.
always been my favorite gun in like so many games though, so I'm really looking forward to this. When I saw this M14, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Because Killing Floor and like Killing Floor 2, that was my favorite
See,
gun.
that was
Battlefield,
reminding
my
me
favorite gun.
Battlefield. That's what it was making me
Yeah.
think. The DMRs. Oh my god.
I mean, even back in COD 4, I played that gun a lot because it was good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to the picture showed it having a bipod. So I'm wondering if that means that you'll be able to lie prone and fire it off with no
Add
recoil.
bipods to like M24 and that gun, that would be really cool. I'd like to see that as an attachment just overall. Or even for the M249, imagine setting that thing up and just going.
Is it crate only? I believe.
I think that's what
I think so, but I would like to see them deploy.
Yeah, that's why they need to put something new out on the floor because it seems like there's too much of a variety in the crates now.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that they're
especially
probably
with
going to
the
drop the
VSS
Car
being in it.
98 out.
Yeah,
They'll probably
They
drop the Car
should.
98.
I think the VSS and the Car 98.
Yeah, I think the VSS.
well, the VSS is out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did that like what?
With the Groza. When the
Which
Groza came
which
in,
was
they did
great.
that. which is good because the VSS should not have been.
Was not worth a crate.
I kind of like this. If this is their plan, that anytime they bring in a new gun, they'll bring it into a crate and then take one of the guns that's presently in the crate and then boot it. That's not performing as well as it should.
They
be.
might be using that as a test phase also to make sure
Yeah.
the gun's just not completely broken rather than deploying it to the whole server.
Well, if that's the case, then why is the Groza still a thing?
Groza's
That thing's
broken. That's why.
broken as hell.
That's why it's still in the crates only. But if it, like, say, if it's like an underpowered one, they do like what they did with the VSS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll
VSS
probably
is totally situational.
VSS is trash.
it is
Paintball gun.
I love the fact that I find an SMG with a silencer on it already. That's about it. That's
You might as well run an ump with a 4X.
Yeah, right.
It has less drop.
I may have done that before instead. Because I mean, like
Yeah,
SMG
I've done
silencers
that
are
before.
easy to find, right? You know,
Times are tough.
like,
I played a qualifier 4 weeks ago. I think it was last month. I had a shotgun and an ump the whole game. That was it. And I had a 4X on it, and that was all I had. And I couldn't hit shit.
struggle.
And it was like an open, long range field at the end circle. If it was like a city one, I would have been perfect. But like it was just an open field, and I was like, I'm so screwed.
all right, so we're gonna go to the question section real quick. We've had a couple of viewers drop off, so if anybody has any questions for anybody specifically, like ping them in the Twitch chat. I've got one, and this is my divisive question that I always love to ask players. Angled foregrip or vertical foregrip?
Oh, God.
I'm gonna say I used to go angled all the time just because it got both the recoil and the vertical and the horizontal, but I've been swapping over the vertical foregrip lately, and I think it is better. I think it is.
You know what that says about you as a human. I hope you're proud of yourself. No, guys, which way you go, man?
I do vertical on assault rifles, and then I do angled on umps, just because close range, like bringing your weapon up to aim down sights, can be a big factor in close range gunfights.
Oro, do you have any preference? He's just like the whole time he's shaking
Like
his
I
head. He's like,
Like
yeah.
I shoot. Come on.
I just shoot people.
Like I shoot people at all. I don't know. I feel like vertical foregrip just feels better for some reason. I don't know why. I have nothing to back it up at all. It just feels better to me.
Personal preference.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
I just run angled as well because I prefer it. Mainly, my aim is bad, so anything that helps focus it. I know the vertical helps with the raise, and the angled kind of like cements it to where it doesn't shift his back. So that shifting back and forth helps me a little bit. That's the only reason I do it. So okay, here's the next question. M16 single fire or burst? At ranged.
That's
At
so
ranged,
situational. Oh, at range,
Yeah.
single.
Single.
But I love the burst of the M16 from medium close range. It tears some stuff up, and the recoil's so low, and the bullet velocity so high. You just can down people so quick.
I need to start playing that gun more. I really do.
I
hate that gun so much.
Honestly, don't go into your sights when you're in burst mode. Just third person it, and it tears stuff up. Like I've been doing that lately, and it's so broken. It's more accurate than you think it would be.
That's Poro's. I'm trying that immediately after we get done.
I know because I have honestly I've stopped trying to third person shoot anybody because I feel like the third person aiming was so bad. But maybe
Oh
it's
no,
just
you crouch and stay still with an SKS. I had an SKS with 8 times. I crouched and shot at a guy, and all 3 go direct middle.
Okay. Now,
okay.
I'm gonna get two professional players' opinions
experimenting
on this because I've heard a lot of back and forth on it. Does crouching affect accuracy?
Yes.
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah, it does.
I'm quoting
It's
you.
same
on this from this
with
point
proning.
forward.
Like if you prone third person, it's
also-
insanely accurate.
And it also lowers recoil, I believe.
Yep.
Like you get like a perfect example is the M249 saw. You put that thing in prone with a 4X, it's a laser beam.
Yeah.
It doesn't move.
You don't have to hold your breath when you're laying
Yeah.
down, so
Yeah, that one I know has like no recoil when you're prone.
it's a very scary gun to hear.
All right, then, guys, we're coming to the tail end of this. We're about to hit our hour mark. So we're just gonna go through, do shout outs. We'll start off with Ricard. Make sure to talk about your org. Talk about what it's like being signed in here real quick. Give them some thanks and some love. Talk about where people can find you.
I am so. I was just so astounded that this even happened. Like I can't believe how like it's yeah, I'm a good player, but a lot of it's still just luck at the same time that you get noticed. And this is a dream come true for me, honestly. Like I didn't go into PUBG even thinking this would happen. Like I tried so hard in Overwatch to go pro in that. And I was Grandmaster. I was trying to hit top 500 and all that. And then I pick up this game and I drop Overwatch and I just start playing and get on some random team. And like, 3 weeks later we're signed. I'm like, okay,
There are no
that's that.
PUBG players that came from Overwatch. Nobody at all.
I came
no
from
casters
Overwatch.
either.
Yeah, no casters either.
Um,
None.
Yeah,
But I'm
actually,
very happy to
I
be a
came
part
from
of Set.
Overwatch.
I'm very, very happy to be part of SetToDestroyX. Just SetToDestroyX.com if you want to check out our site, what all teams we have, or any gear you want to buy. You can also check out my Twitter at STDXRykar. I just started that account because I had my personal account, but I didn't really have any kind of professional gaming account until this happened. And then kind of same with the Twitch. I really didn't stream or anything until that. And that is at Sir Rykar. Probably gonna change that name soon when Twitch allows me to. But yeah, we just got our Twitch partnership in for the esports partnership with STDX, and yeah, it's awesome. I think I retained that even after the contract ends.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah,
nice getting that sub button in there.
but my internet has been. I have Cox Communications in Wichita,
Ooh,
and I pay for 150 over 10, but it just drops all my frames all the time. Just all of a sudden, so I can't stream lately. And so I've had 5 techs out, and they can't fix it.
I've encountered that every once in a while, especially with PUBG. PUBG has random bandwidth spikes that happen so often.
It's not even with PUBG. It's just in general. Like
Just
I don't
in
even have the
general?
game launched. I just launched my stream, and it's like, oh, 65% frame drop at 1,000 bit rate even.
You got that lunatic internet.
Gazrilla,
The STDX tradition.
I've
Well,
got
no, I pay for 150 over 10. It should be fine.
I've got naturally the same thing for you, but you actually do have a question from chat. This is for Gazrilla. How does Machine Gunner go through life knowing Bransta, killed him and his team with an auto shotty?
He actually he's been scarred. He can't sleep at night. He's having a hard time coping with everything. I have to read to him every once in a while, but I mean, it's a slow process. Yeah, it's a slow process.
PTSD is crazy, man.
It's awful. He's not the same person.
All right, guys, so give us a breakdown. Tell us a little bit about the org that you work with. Tell us where we can find more stuff about you.
At Flashpoint Esports, website's flashpoint.gg. The Twitter handle is also flashpoint.gg. It's a really awesome organization. The owner is probably one of the most chill and coolest people I've met. He's really hands on with everything. They're a great org. They play a lot of I guess you would say joystick games like Tekken, all that stuff, and they're actually doing pretty good at Evo. I can understand. We have a good For Honor player as well, and Muley, really great. He's really entertaining too to watch.
I just want to let everybody know that's watching this. If you see us smiling, we're not laughing at what Gaz is saying. Twitch chat is just.
I'm seeing this chat.
Twitch chat. The only thing I can say is Machine Gunner. Like we were talking about like how Branstad killed Machine Gunner Squad one time. Machine Gunner responds with, "I have more PTSD from Branstad than I do from Iraq. Feels bad, man." And so, like you can see, all of us were just like, "It's nothing." Like we're all like, Flashpoint is such a great org. I just felt bad because you're like, Flashpoint is so great, and they're doing so well at Evo, and we're all like.
Oh, I see it.
Every time he hears an S12K in game, he just has a shudder run down his spine.
When Branch wrote that message, I saw you laughing. I was like, oh, I know what he's gonna ask me next.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. I just want to let people know.
But yeah, they're a great team. They're it's basically like a family, and they took a shot on us, and I'm glad we can at least be a top 10 team for them.
Well, for myself and Poro, like we don't stream, and the only place you really find us is where you're already at. So I guess you can like follow us on Twitter. Well, I tweet sometimes, and Poro like tweeted like once 2 years ago. But
I gotcha. Hold on.
Twice in 10 years.
Right now, I'm gonna do that right now.
I already followed you, man. I already followed both of you.
Sure.
So with this, we're gonna come into the tail end of it. I just want to say thanks to both of you guys for coming in. I know it was fairly last minute, so do appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll get you guys back in to get some input on things as they develop, and specifically like more towards the finals as we start to see how like teams are playing out through the new series that we have going on, where we're going to have the Showdown series and the Open series. Like, it'd be nice to see what you guys' opinion are on some of the new teams that might be coming up through the Open series, that type of thing. But Machine Gunner, I do follow you. What? Okay. With this, guys, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off, and we will see you tomorrow whenever we move into the finals for the month.
Big day on Monday.
Here we go.
Get some
I'm
sleep.
looking forward to it. No.
You know, eat a good dinner.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. It was good talking to you and everybody here. It was a good time.
All right,
It was different. I like it.
see you guys tomorrow.